Hi. The title is not a joke. Well, kind of, but like, don't click away. Like, let me explain. I kind of have okay, no, I can't do this. I've never actually really considered myself a furry, despite the fact I've literally grew up reading Warrior Cats, and I roleplayed Warrior Cats at recess, and I wore cat ears every day to school from like 6th grade to like 7th grade, and I even had a Warrior Cat OC, but like, okay, maybe I've always been a furry. But the reason why I am now technically kind of considering myself a furry is because today I'm going to be making my own set of ears and tails. Tails. Who does that sound like? Why am I making 2 tails? Yeah, I'm making myself into tails. My dad and I were planning out the rest of our summer because we realized it's like at the time it was like in the middle of June, and we were like, oh shoot, we haven't done literally anything. July 15th, we decided that we can actually go to the Renaissance Fair. So I was super stoked about that, but then I remembered, I don't have a costume. Last time I went to the Ren Fair, I dressed up as Venti from Genshin Impact. Since then, that costume is pretty much ripping at the seams, and I can't fix it really because I know if I try to fix it, that it's not really gonna work. It's like ripping everywhere, so that's $100 down the drain. So I was actually trying to get a picture of the costume and how it was ripped, just so I could show you guys. As I was trying to look for it, apparently someone stitched it, but I didn't sew it. I think my dad might have done it. I don't know, but I should make this video quickly so that no one else steals my idea. So, I don't know how to do a transition. Ignore the really crappy lighting in my room. My LEDs broke, and this is all I got. So that's great. To save us all some time, I already made the templates. For the tail and the ears. I'm going to start with the tail because I was originally going to start with the ears, but I did a big oopsie and I literally ordered everything I needed except the thing to put the ears on, which is the headband, and for now I'll just start with the tail because I've literally never done this before. I'm going to be using like these 2 videos. I'll link them down in the description if you're curious. I'll also have this playing behind me because I have a TV behind me right there. Right now I'm actually working on this project. I am now tracing the tail template onto 3-inch polyurethane foam, which will provide structure for the tail. This was my first mistake because I should have made a separate template for the foam and made it a lot smaller. You'll see why later. Alright, I'm having my dad help me cut this because I have no idea what I'm doing. So my dad helped me cut this out, and I'm just going to start with this one and clean it up and see if I need to like make any changes or anything before I cut the other one. This is Editor Mady here, coming to you live on the channel Madz is Cringe from my editing studio. I am here to report that past me is going 2 for 2 with her second mistake during this project. She used a dull pair of scissors, which she only realized the next day after seeing her hand was badly bruised from using those scissors for 2 unnecessary hours straight, with very little progress on trimming the foam. I have taken the L. Back to you, past me. I just remembered I had this sunset lamp. Why didn't I know that for the beginning of this video? Like, well, my dad burned the tail. It smells too. But I got it done. Now I am just going to make cuts in here so that it moves realistically, because right now is not moving realistically, and that's not what we want. The sunset lamp is so cool. I also have a warm light on, which I never use, but honestly, it's a mood. I wish I had this earlier, but it's fine. I should have just left this, because like she like left it untouched, and it's pretty much like boom. But this is not boom. This is So what I'm doing here is I am tracing the base of the tail, and the base is where it's going to rest on my tailbone. It's what I was showing earlier. I'm tracing the base of it onto EVA foam, and I'm cutting it out, and I'll glue it onto the polyurethane foam, and it's going to provide stability for my back so it actually has somewhere to rest. Unfortunately, it actually is pretty much useless because the tails ended up being way too heavy and most of it is not even touching me. So anyway, what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to make a cut or a hole in the foam for where I want the belt to be. But I forgot that I cannot cut through this foam for the life of me, so I am marking with Sharpie where I want my dad to cut, not just for the belt, but for the rest of the tail, so that it can be flexible. But I realized that I'm not gonna end up needing that anyway. To speed things up, I am now working on the ears. First, I am marking the direction of the fur. That is very important. If you are doing this at home, please make sure you do that, because that totally messed up my tail later on. Anyway, I am tracing the ear template onto the fur, and I ended up cutting it off camera because I could not figure out how to cut the fur. Kind of embarrassing. Actually, I lied. I found some sharp scissors, and now I'm actually cutting the fur on camera. I forgot I recorded that. So I cut out all the fur pieces, and this is honestly looking pretty sick already. I said already twice. I think I'm gonna just like work on the rest tomorrow whenever I can. I'm getting tired and I should go to bed. So I'll hand the phone over to future me. Hi. So I moved rooms because I am watching my dogs while my mom is out, and while I was doing that, I thought, hey, why not work on my ears? So I'm gonna do that. So what I have to do next is I have to make the frame for the ears, and I'm just going to trace out the template again, cut them out, and then I'll go from there. I am tracing the ear template onto 2-inch EVA foam. I almost said polyurethane. And I am using a white pencil to trace instead of just a mechanical pencil without lead like I usually use. I just thought it would be easier, and it's actually a lot easier, guys. I don't know why I keep getting black EVA foam though. I feel like white would look better for a lot of things I do. Oh, it's still recording. I just realized my hair is really poofy today, and I don't know why. It's fine. If you guys noticed while I was tracing the ear template onto the foam that I did that same seam allowance thing that I did for the fur, where I just outlined the stencil that I did, don't do that, because the frame is supposed to be smaller than the fur, so the fur can glue together. Yeah, I realized that right about now. I didn't know I would have needed white EVA foam, or else I would have gotten that. Unless maybe I'm not supposed to make it bigger than the template. Okay, we got the frames of the ears. So what I'm gonna do next is make the wire inside the frame so that I can like pose the ears and stuff. Sorry guys, I know this is an awkward angle, but I don't feel like getting my tripod. I'm kidding. I thought it would be funny if I had cut it off there, but actually at this point I had a really bad foot. I had just gone back from Cedar Point that weekend, and for whatever reason, my left foot was hurting for an entire week straight. After that, it was really hard for me to get up and down the stairs for a while, and my tripod is upstairs, so I didn't want to get it. The only reason why I'm saying this is because I don't know what else to talk about here. I'm putting on the wire. Look at me put that wire. Ooh, yeah, get it. Oh yeah. Alright, now I'm gonna glue them, and I'm going to do that off camera because my hot glue gun is over there. I forgot to record the rest of me making the ears last night, but they're finished. Technically have to glue this on because I accidentally made the wire too short and it won't wrap around the headband. You can kind of see compared to this one. Yeah, so that was an oopsie on my part, but I'm just gonna glue it straight on the headband. Also, yeah, I am wearing an axolotl robe because axolotls are one of my favorite animals. That's a little heavy though. Also, happy 4th. It is Independence Day and I spent the whole day with my family. We went swimming, we had a cookout, and we're about to have s'mores right now actually. And for my fellow Americans, I hope you all had a wonderful Independence Day. And to my non-American viewers, I hope you had an amazing day too. Remember to drink something and eat something if you haven't. Anyway, pretty much what I did after I glued the aluminum wire. After I glued that onto the EVA foam, I got the yellow fur backing and I put the frame, which is what that was, on top of the yellow fur, and I just glued it on, and then I pretty much just sandwiched the frame in between both furs and I just glued them together. Except this one, the one that's loose, I didn't glue as well, so I'm gonna go back and fix that as well. After that, I got some electric trimmers, which are over there. I don't feel like getting them. I just took that and just shaved all back here, and I left this long. I wasn't 100% sure what to do for the inside of the ears, so I just kind of shaved in the middle pretty much and trimmed some of the edges a little bit, but not really. I left it long and fluffy because I really wanted fluffy ears. I thought that would really fit. So I didn't do a whole lot, but yeah, that was pretty much it. These were a lot easier to make than I anticipated, and I hope I can make more in the future because this was really fun. I was debating, because I have an airbrush kit, I was debating on putting some color in here, but honestly I might just leave it just because I don't want to risk like doing anything wrong or messing up anything. But yeah, that's how they look, and you will get to see the whole thing at the end of the video. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. I just really like how these look. I'm actually surprised that they're holding up. The longer I wear them though, the more they start to like go forward like that, but it's not like a huge issue, I don't think. I'm hoping that they will survive the run fair. I guess I will let you know. I'm not sure where or when. But yeah, okay, so that's all I wanted to say. I am so sorry I forgot to record. I just kind of like went ham. This took like all night. I was up till 1 a.m. After I have the cookout with my mom and dad, I will probably begin working on the second tail. I gotta do another one exactly like this. Now that I know what I'm doing, I don't think it will take us long. I'm gonna eat some s'mores and I'll be right back. We're having trouble getting our fire started, and I tried lighting the marshmallow. As soon as I stuck it in there, it stopped burning. She ate, look at that marshmallow. She stole the good marshmallow. Say hi, Dad.
Hi there. Yes, she stole the good one.
This is going on YouTube if you guys don't mind. Got my marshmallow. I'm just trimming the second tail now, and I mean, let's be for real, guys. The only reason why I included this clip in here is because my outfit right now is literally fire, guys. I literally slayed this. Okay, that's it. I just finished trimming all this up, and I placed Sharpie markings for where my dad needs to make cuts in it so that the tail can be more flexible. I put the marking of where the belt loop should be. I'll have my dad do that tomorrow, and then after that I can go straight to the fur. Please excuse how messy my room is. It gets incredibly messy anytime I am making a cosplay or modifying a cosplay or anything. It just always gets super messy. So at this point in the tutorial that I am watching, the way she's doing her tail, the markings are very different from mine, and so the way that she's making her fur and going to be sewing it is going to not be how I do mine, because so what she's doing, she has like a top fur design. Hold on. She has like a top fur design and then a bottom fur design, while me on the other hand, my design kind of is like this. So I kind of have to make my fur differently than how she did. So I'm just going to use this original stencil that I have, and I did measurements on this thing, and from the lowest point, which is about here, to about halfway across the top is 10.5 inches. So, and whenever I measured it on here, the same spot, it was 8.5 inches. So I'm just going to put a 2-inch, what's it called? I already forgot what the word was. I'm gonna put 2 inches of space after I trace the stencil. I already forgot what that was called. I'm going to do that twice. I'm going to do that and then flip it over. I'm going to make 2. I don't know how to explain this, just look. Okay, I had the right idea, but what I was trying to say is I'm tracing the stencil onto the fur, and then I'm flipping it and tracing it again so that it like connects together. But as you're about to see, I made another oopsie daisy. So I just remembered that I didn't cut this because this is supposed to be white. That's why I made this shoot. So I have to cut the stencil before I can finish tracing it on the fur. I just realized this is going to be a lot more to sew. I didn't finish recording me cutting out the rest of the stencil because I had to eat. So it's been a couple days since I last filmed because it took a moment to cut out the rest of the fur, which I have over there. I still need to trim that. And then I had to set up my sewing machine, which also took a little bit because I thought I was missing a piece, which was not actually missing to begin with because I didn't see these bobbins and had to get a whole thing of bobbins and it was a mess. Yeah, and then I had to figure out how to set this up. I've never really used a sewing machine before, so I was originally pretty scared, but after messing around with it for a bit and testing it out, honestly, it's pretty dope. I am going to sew this and I'll show you the progress tomorrow, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a problem. I made an oopsie. Last night I was trying to sew the yellow fabric and the white fabric together first before I sewed both pieces together. I have never sewn anything before. You already know where this is going. I messed up totally. The only thing I have ever sewn is some designs on a jacket for a cosplay. And even then I hand sewed them. And that's kind of different than using a machine. I looked up a tutorial on how to use a sewing machine and set it up and use it, and I thought I had it. I was like, oh, okay, this is easy, I'll get it. Yeah, tell that to the fabric. Yeah, this did not go hold on. This did not go according to plan. It's fine. I was able to salvage the white piece, and I actually ended up gluing the pieces instead. I didn't know how else to sew them together, but hey, it works. They're pretty tight on there and you can't even tell. And I wanted specifically the white or the yellow fur to be on top of the white fur so that it would look more natural and it just looks really nice. I just ended up gluing this. Probably not the best idea, but it works. But yeah, I could not salvage this piece. I really tried to get the thread out and it's really hard when there's a bunch of fur in the way. Yeah, no, the stitching is way too tight and small. I could not. It was just really disappointing. As you can see, I cut the triangle part of the white fur off because I just realized I'm not talking to anyone. Hold on. When I was trying to figure out how to fix this because I didn't want to have to make 2 new pieces again, even though I'm gonna have to anyway, I ended up just cutting this straight across instead of doing the like 2 halves thing that I was doing, which ended up actually working a lot better because I had no idea how to sew them, like how I cut them out. TLDR, I fixed it. There's glue though. That's the only downside. There's hot glue remnants. Oh yeah, one other issue too. I ran out of white fur already and I have to make a whole nother tail, and I ordered white fur, but this is not the same company and therefore it is not the same fur. You can tell these 2 are from the same company, I believe. Actually, I'm not even sure if they are. I don't think they are. This white fur is longer than this one, and this one is a little more condensed, if that makes sense, like thicker. That's what I mean. It's almost yeah, it's like they're different and it's noticeable, but I don't have a choice. Anyway, enough of me rambling. I just kind of stopped recording my processes, but I realized because I didn't think you guys would want to see me just, I don't know. Oh yeah, by the way, it's Tuesday and I have 4 days to get this done. I think it's manageable actually. I can do it. I'm gonna start sewing. I just want to say now, I am so sorry for the lighting. My ring light here is not working, which is my usual ring light. I don't know why, everything is plugged in. So we just have my sunset lamp. Also, it's night now. It only took me half an hour to clip everything together so I can start sewing. But I had to eat supper and I was spending time with my parents before bed. I had to get up for work in the morning. I'm sewing now, even though it's almost 10 o'clock, so okay.
And now, the part you've all been probably waiting for. Me finally using a sewing machine for a project for the first time. I'm not gonna lie, it was really daunting at first. I originally got this machine for my birthday this year, which was February 22nd. And as I was making this, it was in the middle of July. I never even opened it or anything until this point.
Why is there an ant in here? I don't know where this came that It was just an ant, a little tiny one. But I have not had an ant in my room. I don't think I've ever had an ant in my room. So that was weird.
And that's because I really don't trust myself to do a lot of things on my own. I'm always dependent on other people telling me what to do and exactly how to do it because something always goes wrong when I do it. It's always been a dream of mine to make my own clothing and make an entire cosplay from scratch using a sewing machine. But I was always afraid I was going to break the machine or I'll ruin the fabric or whatever else I'm working on or just something bad would happen because I always seem to mess things up. But to my surprise, I had very little issue while using the sewing machine. I did have a problem while I was sewing the second tail, but God gave me grace as it was the day before the Ren Fair, and I was able to fix it. It was a lot easier than I thought, although I have to really concentrate, and I feel a lot better about using it in the future. If you're also a perfectionist, just remember that mistakes are bound to happen, but don't let it be the reason you don't try. It's part of the learning curve.
Okay, moment of truth. I'm gonna flip it inside out, see how it looks. Okay, I can't really just pull it out. I gotta like shimmy my way down like this. Oh my god. Can't really see the tip of the tail as much as I wanted it to, but hey, this is my first tail. Oh my god. Look at that. I sewed some fabric. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, this looks really cool. Wow, this turned out really good. Yay. Okay, now let's stick this in there.
I am not kidding you guys, this took an hour to stuff the tail into the fur. This is what I was talking about earlier about needing to make the foam tail smaller. I don't know how that problem never came across my mind. I ended up cutting up quite a bit of foam just so that it would fit, and then I had to stuff it with polyfill stuffing. My knuckles were bright red like the character, and it was just, ugh! And of course, I don't have any of that on camera because I kept forgetting to record. Oh yeah, I also glued everything shut.
Hi, little update. I finished the tail, and I'm able to wear it. There it is. Look at that. And it moves while I walk. This is actually one of the coolest, if not probably actually the coolest thing I've ever made so far. And it looks heavy, but it's not. Not as wiggly as I want it to be. I want it to be a little more realistic, but it looks nice, so I'm not gonna complain. But I am currently freaking out right now because it is Thursday and I have 2 days to get another tail done by Saturday. So I am going to speed this up, but I won't record the entire process again. You've already seen me do it once. I'm hoping to at least get the fur sewn by tonight. I do have somewhere to be about 5, so that'll take about 3 hours out of my day. I'm hoping I can get this done. This lining makes me look a little evil, a little mischievous.
Like I said earlier, this costume was a huge milestone for me. I've been cosplaying for about 5 or 6 years now, and this was my first project using a sewing machine, which again, it has always been my dream to use one and make my own cosplays, so it's kind of a big deal for me. I'm incredibly thrilled with how it ended up turning out. It was definitely a confidence booster, and I can't wait for what my cosplay future holds. The next time I'll be using this machine is for my Tails 9 cosplay from Sonic Prime, which I'll start working on sometime in August because I plan on making the entire thing from scratch, and if I can, I would love to enter it into a contest. Of course, I'll document the entire process here on YouTube, so if you like what you see in this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more cosplay and art related content. Now, without further ado, let's introduce the newest addition to my cosplay roster.
No! I have no idea how to do this shot. Hold on.
If you made it this far into the video, I just want to thank you for watching and caring about this costume just as much as I do. This video took a while to make, about 3 weeks actually, and it's taken even longer to get my footing here on YouTube, about 1.5 years actually, but I hope to start posting more often. I've had so many difficulties with creating my first video, which is a story for another time, but to those from my Instagram and TikTok that have been waiting for me to post, thank you for your patience, and I am so sorry for the wait. Eventually, I would love to create the outfit for this particular costume, so make sure you stay tuned for that, whenever that might be, but I have a full schedule for the next few months. I'm going to start upgrading my Rainbow Dash cosplay as soon as I can because I will be dressing as her for one of my senior pictures, and that's coming up pretty soon. And after that, I will start on my 9 cosplay since I will be bringing him to the Grand Rapids Comic Con in November, so I want to start on that as soon as Rainbow is done. I also have some other kinds of videos planned, including art-related and video essays, so once again, please show your support by subscribing if that's something you're interested in. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later. God bless.